What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for Sports. So before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to Kenyana with the $15 donation to the channel via the PayPal. I see your question. Yes, that video is up. Um, as far as my Patreon videos, I'm sorry a little bit late in uploading that, but I just wanted to get the bulk of my YouTube content up before I focused on the Patreon videos. But most definitely, um, I was going to get those videos done today. Got two more videos to upload before I call it a day. But so I like working hard for you guys. I love doing this. I love interacting with you guys. Um, you know, and at the end of the day, man, it's just you interact with a lot of cool people on social media, and sometimes I don't have time to always respond to every comment, but I try my best to respond to you guys. Um, but I really, really do appreciate the love that you guys have been showing me. And to anybody that want to show love, if you choose to, you can do so in the links in the description box below via the PayPal or the Cash App or in the pinned comment in the comment section below. Now, got a lot of Michael Jordan fans on here, obviously. Many people who grew up watching him play in the 1980s and 1990s and into the 2000s. Or if you're younger, you have learned about him, read about him. And many people would say that the team that proved to be the toughest obstacle to Michael Jordan, and no doubt about it, it would be the Detroit Pistons. Back-to-back NBA champions, late 80s, early 1990s, bad boys. Um, they were the team that the NBA shunned. Some would even argue that the NBA used the dispersal draft to try to break that team up because that team delayed the coronation of King Michael the First. But you know what's interesting? Michael Jordan once indicated that the toughest team that he faced was not the Detroit Pistons. Let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not saying that they were better than the Pistons. But as far as toughness, physicality, just constant beating up the players and just a physical grind fest, the toughest team that Michael Jordan faced was actually the 1992 New York Knicks. And anybody that watched that series, anybody that remembers that team, you're probably nodding your head saying, yeah, I can most definitely see it. Michael Jordan, who was known for his competitiveness, Michael Jordan, who was known for his toughness, after game 6 of that series, Michael Jordan said something that was very uncharacteristic, according to the author of a book. He said that Michael Jordan said to him, quote, "This series is brutal. I want to get done with it." And that was just a snippet of his disdain for playing this team. There have been speculation that Game 7 was rigged in the Bulls' favor because the Bulls were the ratings darlings, and the NBA did not want the Knicks representing the Eastern Conference. They didn't want a New York Knicks Portland series or whatever, or New York Knicks and whoever. But the Knicks and the Bulls, they were probably the biggest rivalry of the 1990s. You know, not saying they were Lakers Celtics, but they were the closest thing to it. They faced off against each other 5 times in the playoffs in the 1990s. Should have been six. Had it not been for that brawl in 1997 with the Heat and the Knicks, they would have been 6 times. And I still believe that 1997 Knicks team would have given the Bulls a run for the money, for our money. And I'm a Bulls fan, and I'm saying that because the Knicks played the Bulls very well during those years. But they played each other 5 times, 4 years consecutively: 1991, 92, 93, and then 94. But of course, 94 Jordan wasn't there. In 1996, they played each other, but that was the least competitive series overall. The Bulls beating the Knicks 4 games to 1. But 1992 was undoubtedly the most brutal of those matchups. Pat Riley was the new head coach of the Knicks. He had left, he had stepped down from coaching the Lakers after 1990, spent 1 year in broadcasting on NBC, then became the head coach of the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks were in many ways the antithesis. They were the antithesis of the Lakers. The Lakers were showtime and flashy. The Knicks were more of a more of a hardened half court grind out, physical team, beat you up, and when you look at the team that they had, I mean, it was so many enforcers, man. Charles Oakley, the #1 enforcer of the NBA. Charles Oakley says that he's the reason why Michael Jordan began to work on his mid range and outside shooting. He said, you know, if you notice, after he got traded in '88, after that, Michael started playing more off ball and working more on his perimeter shooting and didn't drive as much. And when you think about it, I mean, it could be that. I mean, I attribute it more to the fact that Phil Jackson came there and may have advised Michael to work on other aspects of his game, but it could be that too. It definitely could be that. But anyway, the point is that '92 Knicks team had Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, another enforcer, Anthony Mason, another guy you don't want to meet in the dark alley, 6'8", 265 pounds. They had John Starks, another feisty dude. You know what I'm saying? Who else was on that team? Gerald Wilkins. Gerald Wilkins is arguably one of the greatest perimeter defenders, most underrated perimeter defenders in NBA history. When you look at that lineup, man, you got Starks, Gerald Wilkins, the players I just mentioned. I think their backup was James Donaldson. They had Kiki Vanderway on that team. Um, that was a nice squad, man, and they really made it difficult for the Bulls. Anytime anybody tried to drive in the lane, they would knock them on their ass, man. And it was a very physical series, and it was getting to the Bulls. It was getting to them. Now the Bulls had I still believe if that Knicks team had faced the Bulls 2 years earlier, they might have defeated them. But definitely 3 years earlier. But the Bulls had matured. Um, the experiences with the Pistons prepared them for that type of play. But it's very telling, very, very telling how, you know, Michael Jordan was tired of his fucking team. They really, really fucking got on his nerves, you know what I'm saying? And that just lets you know just how great Pat Riley is as a coach and how physical play did bother Michael. Now that doesn't mean that he's not a great competitor, but Michael is 6'6" and 198 pounds. It ain't like he's fucking LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? Physical play will beat you. Will do something to you over time. That's why Michael had to put on 10 to 12 pounds of muscle to be able to withstand that shit. And that's why, as he got older, he became more fall away Jordan, more fadeaway Jordan, because he got tired of that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, but yeah, in hindsight, they were his toughest opponent, his most physical opponent. But tell me what you guys think.